It's estimated that every person will experience 2 broken bones in their lifetime. Fractures are one of the most common reasons that you and I would visit A&E, because this is where we start the process of healing and we receive the support needed to become a functioning person again. A fracture is studied, treated and rehabilitated with the rest of our body, and our pain is taken away. Our friends and family offer any support that they can. They can buy, clean your dishes, take your dog for a walk, take the kids to school, the list goes on. There's an unconscious social agreement that we are taught growing up to support one another when support's needed. Support networks made up of these organisations, our friends, our families, our community, they're vital to how we heal as human beings. Without them, we would struggle to complete even the simplest of tasks, like getting out of bed in the morning, because we're all dependent on one another. Think about it. If you were to wake up tomorrow morning and all your relationships and commitments just vanished, leaving you completely alone, how would that make you feel? Would you even want to get out of bed? That's how my family felt 17 years ago, when one night our lives changed forever. My partner made a mistake he has regretted every day since, and he served a prison sentence of 15 years. When a family member, particularly a partner, is sent to prison, people don't know how to react. At first, people are curious. What did they do? How long are they away for? Were you there? There is no social agreement for us to follow to give support to families in these situations. It doesn't just mean you don't get to be with a loved one every day or have a parent take you to the park. It affects everything. When you lose a loved one to prison, particularly a parent, partner figure, you lose an income, you lose a tenancy, a home, you lose face. That's 4 things. It doesn't sound like much, but it's drastically life-changing. Quite often when you've lost these things, it becomes a spiral into homelessness and poverty. And when you're there, it's difficult to get back out. Some families feel forced to move and start again due to the stigma of the crime placed on them by their community. To avoid these stigmas, they move elsewhere. How does that affect kids? What happens to them now? Well, that's the question. The number of children affected is estimated ranging from 10,000 to 30,000 in Scotland alone. Yet there's no record of who these kids are, where they are and what support they need to be able to reach their full potential. These kids aren't estimates. They're human beings with lives, experiences and stories that should be properly recognised. The reality is that these kids are not receiving support unless there is a form of neglect noticed by perhaps a teacher, who would only become aware of the situation the family is in when they're directly told by a parent or carer. Quite often, the kids are told to keep the situation a secret out of shame, or perhaps are being told, like my son was, "Oh, Dad's working in the money factory." To which she hit back with, "Well, where's all the money then?" When you're keeping imprisonment of a loved one a secret out of shame, you and your kids can't receive the support that is needed, because the parent or guardian is trying to keep up the everything's fine persona to protect the kids from the shame that they feel. The Prison Reform Trust say the imprisonment of a parental figure is one of 10 adverse childhood experiences known to have significant negative impacts on children's long-term health and well-being, their school attainment and later life experiences. Research suggests a link between parental imprisonment and premature death. As most primary caregivers are women, the imprisonment of a mother is particularly devastating for children, affecting every aspect of life and generating a wide range of emotions, including trauma, shame and grief. Families and children experience a grieving process every time they leave their loved one behind after a visit. This is repeated week after week and quite often for very long periods of time. We feel guilty for leaving, we worry about the prisoner's mental health and what experiences they're having, we overthink the things that could happen to them in a prison environment. There's no guidance or support for these families to unwind and ground themselves after these visits to allow them to function properly in the outside world. Visits are designed to give the prisoner and the family a chance to stay connected, to be a family. But if you've spent 2 hours every week locked in a room being watched by cameras and prison officers, you develop a conflict. You're reassured that you're not trusted. You're not here to see your loved one, but you perhaps have ulterior motives such as supplying drugs. This affects our kids well into adulthood. After years of being watched, scrutinised by the prison system, judged and controlled, our kids develop a deep distrust with their relationship with authority figures and cameras. They can develop mental health issues, trust issues, suffer from body dysmorphia as a result, and they learn to scan and dissect a room to make sure that they can be safe and comfortable. So where is the support to go over this? Where is the help for the kid? This needs to be addressed, and support for our families needs to be offered at the start of a sentence. There's almost no information or support available to these families. In Scotland, there are very few organisations that can empathise with families. They're not part of a recognised group with their own vulnerabilities and needs. In my experience, when I've attempted to find support for me and my kids, it's been denied because I don't have any pre-existing health or addiction issues such as alcoholism, drug dependency or severe mental health conditions. So I found myself trying to prove that me and my kids do need help and we were actually suffering. Just because we looked fine, it didn't mean to say that we weren't struggling. Today I recognise that we're one of the lucky families to have gone through this, if there is any luck to be had. I always made sure that my kids have been told that they have potential and they're worthy to reach for whatever they want. Our experience with prison doesn't define us or who we want to be, which sadly it's not the case for most families out there because they go under the radar. They become just another statistic and their potential is overlooked. They can't get the support they need, or they're just not vulnerable enough to receive that support, which would give them the safety net that they need to have the confidence to nurture their full potential. Everyone has potential, no matter who they are or what they want to be. Everyone has it. Who are we as a society to say that just because you're at a different level of vulnerability, that you aren't accessible to what is needed to help you reach it? The cycle of criminality often continues through the child or young person, so it's about providing that safety net where people are comfortable enough to speak about their experiences. It's about providing support on a level that other vulnerable people have access to, and the crime that you haven't committed is no longer hanging over your head for the rest of your life and being used to define us as people and limit our potentials. We're not defined by this one experience. We're simply waiting for our fractures to be recognised and treated. It's not our crime, it's still our sentence. Thank you.